Following the first two tutorials on the trapezoidal rule, we now work through a typical IBAISL exam-style question. And of course that's the question you can see on the screen here, in which we're told a surveyor estimates the area of a small pond. The perpendicular distance, y meters, from a straight path to the edge of the pond is measured at equal intervals as shown in the diagram and table below. So here we can see we have the diagram. We have our x-axis here, which represents the straight path, and we have this curve right here, which represents the edge of the pond. And so the distance y meters from the straight path to the edge of the pond is measured at regular intervals, so at 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10 meters along the straight path, and the distance from the straight path to the edge of the pond is represented by all the dashed lines we see here, which are essentially y values. Underneath that, and this is very common in exam questions, we're given a table of values, and the first thing we need to do here, question A, is to use the trapezoidal rule with 5 equal intervals to estimate the area of the pond. Okay, well, to get us started, let me move this question to the side and I'll shrink it a bit. Don't worry, I'll make it bigger when needs be, like so. And underneath all that, I'll go ahead and write SOL for solution. Okay, so as the question suggests, we need to use the trapezoidal rule. And so I'll remind us of the formula for that in the upper right-hand corner here. Remember, the integral from a to b of y is approximately equal to 1/2 of h, so 1/2 times h, where h is the step size chosen, times, in parentheses, the sum of the first and last height, so that's y sub 0 plus y sub n. And if you're an IBAI student, in your formula booklet you'll see that those two are written in parentheses like this, plus 2 times, in parentheses, the sum of all of the middle y values, or the sum of all the middle heights. And so in the formula booklet that would be y sub 1 plus y sub 2 plus 3 dots plus y sub n minus 1. And as such, that's the only part of the trapezoidal rule we'll need to use. Indeed, the formula for h, which is h equals to b minus a over n, serves no real purpose to us here, since the step size h has already been taken care of for us in this question. Indeed, the step size h is just equal to 2. Okay, with this formula out of the way, we're ready to answer question A and estimate the area. And let me quickly zoom back in on the question for a second, like so. Remember, we're told to use the trapezoidal rule with 5 equal intervals. And looking at the illustration we're given here, hopefully it's clear that 5 equal intervals is exactly what's shown to us in all of this. Indeed, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 equal intervals. And the number of y values we have will always be equal to 1 more than the number of intervals. And again, we can check. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 y values, which is exactly what we can see in the table down here. So we indeed have 5 equal intervals. That being said, I carry on. So using the trapezoidal rule, we can go ahead and state that the area is approximately equal to 1/2 times the step size h. Indeed, that's what we have in our formula here. And as far as the step size h is concerned, well, hopefully it's clear that's equal to 2. Indeed, that's the distance between 0 and 2, 2 and 4, 4 and 6, 6 and 8, and 8 and 10. So the area is equal to 1/2 times 2 times, in parentheses, well, let's see, we have the sum of the first y value and the last y value. And so in the table of values we're given, that would correspond to this y value and this y value, the first and the last. And don't let the fact that they're both equal to 0 worry you. Just roll with it and write it down. So that's going to be 0 plus 0. And I should say the parentheses that we write on either side of y0 and yn serve no purpose whatsoever as far as calculations are concerned. So we don't need to write those in our calculation. We then add to that 2 times, in parentheses, the sum of all the middle y values. So that's the sum of all the y values here in our table. And so if I copy all of that, that's 1.92 plus 2.88 plus 2.88 plus 1.92. And then I close all the parentheses. And now that we've written all of this detail, all we have to do is enter this on our calculator. And you can see mine on the screen here, so I'll just type all of that. So I have 1/2, and I'll write that as a fraction in parentheses like this, 1 divided by 2, times 2 times in parentheses 0 plus 0 plus 2 times in parentheses 1.92 plus 2.88 plus 2.88 plus 1.92. And I exit all of those parentheses and I click on Enter. And we're done. We can see that the area is approximately equal to 19.2. And we could be more specific, since the units for the x-axis are in meters and so are the units on the y-axis, that corresponds to 19.2 square meters. So I'll just write that. The area is approximately equal to 19.2 square meters. Done. All right, now that that's done, we move on to question B. And so for question B, let me zoom into the question a bit. That should do. In this question B, we are told the edge of the pond can be modeled by y equals to 0.12x times 10 minus x, where 10 minus x is written in parentheses, and we're also told that we're considering that model for x values between 0 and 10 included. So what that's really telling us is that this curve here that I'm hovering over right now, well, its equation is y equals to 0.12x times 10 minus x. And what we need to do here is write down an integral that gives the area of the pond. Okay, well remember, the area enclosed by a curve that's above the x-axis and the x-axis itself, such as the area we have here, is equal to a definite integral. And so in this case, it will be equal to the definite integral of this curve's equation from 0 up to 10. And that's all we have to write. So making a careful note of the curve's equation and zooming back out, we can go ahead and state that the area is equal to, and that's equal to, not approximately equal to, the definite integral from 0 to 10 of the curve's equation. So that's 0.12x times 10 minus x. And so I need to write that carefully. That's 0.12x times 10 minus x. And don't forget to write the dx at the end here. There we go. That's question B taken care of. And I should say, do be careful in exams to make sure that you write every single part of this integral correctly. Indeed, it's a relatively easy point to get, provided you don't forget anything. So don't forget the dx at the end, and don't forget the lower and the upper limits of the integral. That being said, I carry on and I move on to question C. And in question C, we're told to calculate the area given by the model. In other words, we need to calculate the area we get using this definite integral. And so for that, I turn over to my calculator again, and on the TI Nspire CX that I'm using here to calculate that definite integral, from the scratch pad or any calculator page, all we have to do is click on Menu, followed by the fourth option, Calculus, followed by the second option, Numerical Integral. So I click on that. And all I have to do now is complete this integral. So the lower limit is 0, the upper limit of the integral is 10, so I type that. In this box here, I type the function's equation, so that's 0.12x times, in parentheses, 10 minus x. And at the far end of this integral, in this little box here, I make sure to type the variable x. Once that's done, I click on Enter. And we're done. We can now state that the area is equal to 20 square meters. And that's the exact area of the pond. And in an exam, we could be specific and write in parentheses using our calculator, and we can just write using GDC for Graphical Display Calculator. All right, finally, we move on to question D. And in this question, let me zoom in on the question a bit. That should do. We're told, find the percentage error in the trapezoidal rule estimate. Okay, so let me quickly zoom back out. So essentially, what we're being asked to find here is the percentage error that we're making when we use the trapezoidal rule to estimate the area compared to the exact area we just found with our calculator. And I'll remind us of the formula for percentage error here. Indeed, it's equal to the absolute value of V sub A minus V sub E over V sub E, and I close the absolute value and I multiply that by 100%. And to be clear, the V sub A is the approximation we make. So in this case, the V sub A will be 19.2. And the two V of E's that we have here at the top and at the bottom, they correspond to the exact values. So they will both be equal to 20. So remember, V sub A for the approximate value and V sub E for the exact value. And so with all that in mind, we can say that the percentage error is equal to the absolute value of V sub A, so that's our approximation, 19.2, minus V sub E, which is 20, over V sub E, which is the exact value again, 20, and all that's multiplied by 100%. And at this stage, we need to turn to our calculator again. And before I type anything, let me just point out that in the calculator, we will enter everything we see here except for the percentage symbol. Indeed, all you have to keep in mind is that the percentage symbol is just something that you'll have to write behind the answer you get on your calculator. So the first thing I need to type here is the absolute value. And on this calculator, we get to that by clicking on the button directly to the right of 9 on our keyboard. So I click on that button here. I can then see that I've got plenty of options to choose from, and the absolute value is the one that's already highlighted for us, and that's simply because that's the last one I used, and that's the one in the far right hand side, or I should say the far upper right hand corner here. So I click on that. Okay, we now have the absolute value. Next, I'll type 19.2 minus 20 in parentheses, so that's 19.2 minus 20, that's in parentheses. I exit the parentheses and I divide that by the denominator here, which is 20. So I type my 20, and now I exit the absolute value, and I type times 100. So I quickly do that, that's times 100. I'm now happy with all of that, and I click on Enter. And we're done. We can see that the percentage error that we're making is equal to 4, and that's 4%. And in fact, I'll go ahead and box that final answer. And there we go. That's it for this typical IB exam question involving the trapezoidal rule.